Britain is hurtling toward a winter of discontent, and Labour finds itself at the heart of a political inferno. Rachel Reeves, touted as Labour's economic mastermind, faces mounting fury over soaring energy bills and devastating cuts to winter fuel payments. Pensioners are being plunged into fuel poverty, with critics branding Labour's policies a cruel betrayal. Meanwhile, Alex Sobel has ignited a cultural war within the NHS over gendered language in pregnancy care, sparking outrage across the nation. But the chaos doesn't stop there. Former Prime Minister Gordon Brown has returned to take aim at Labour's handling of assisted dying legislation, adding to the party's growing list of crises. With energy costs spiralling, cultural debates consuming Parliament, and moral dilemmas splitting the nation, Labour's winter promises to be one of reckoning. The question now is whether the party can weather the storm or crumble under the weight of its own contradictions. Breaking updates are coming in thick and fast, and the fallout is as explosive as it is dramatic. From pensioners left in the cold to fiery cultural debates in healthcare, Labour is facing backlash on all fronts. Buckle up as we unravel this scandalous saga and expose the mounting pressure threatening to tear the party apart. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because the full story is just beginning to unfold. Rachel Reeves is no stranger to criticism, but the backlash over her recent policies on energy and pensioner support has reached unprecedented levels, with Ofgem confirming that energy bills for families on variable rate tariffs will climb to a staggering £1,738 annually in early 2025, public anger has erupted. Reeves's controversial decision to means-test winter fuel payments has left millions of pensioners excluded from vital assistance. Advocacy groups and political rivals alike are branding her approach not just out of touch, but actively harmful to the most vulnerable. Leading the charge is Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey, who has slammed Labour's inaction as a hammer blow to struggling pensioners. In a blistering statement, Davey called for an immediate freeze on energy bills and a reversal of the winter fuel payment cuts. "Enough is enough," he declared. "Pensioners are facing impossible choices this winter, whether to heat their homes or put food on the table. Labour's policies are not just failing, they're pushing people into crisis." The statistics are sobering. Recent research shows that more than 100,000 additional pensioners will fall into relative poverty this winter due to the changes. Over half of those surveyed admitted they would reduce heating to cope with rising costs, while nearly 1 in 5 said they would cut back on food. The image of elderly Britons shivering in their homes while facing empty cupboards has galvanised public outrage. Ranjit Blythe, managing director of Cadent Foundation, issued a stark warning about the human cost of these policies. "We've seen a surge in demand for fuel poverty support," he said. "Those who barely made it through last winter are now tipping over the edge." Blythe's foundation has distributed nearly £500,000 in emergency aid, but he says it's not enough to address the growing crisis. His words carry a chilling weight. This is a policy failure with deadly consequences. Labour's attempts to defend its stance have only added fuel to the fire. A government spokesperson pointed to increased uptake of pension credit and schemes like the Warm Home Discount as evidence of their commitment to the vulnerable. But critics argue that these measures are a drop in the ocean compared to the scale of the crisis. Social media has been ablaze with criticism, with users calling Labour's approach a betrayal of its traditional voter base. "They promised to protect the vulnerable, but all they've done is turn their backs on us," wrote one furious commenter. As Labour scrambles to contain the fallout from its energy policies, a new controversy has erupted within its ranks. Alex Sobel, a Labour MP, has launched a campaign to reform NHS language around pregnancy, calling for the removal of gendered vocabulary to better accommodate trans men who might be pregnant. Sobel's proposals aim to make the NHS more inclusive, but the backlash has been swift and fiery. Critics argue that Sobel's focus on niche issues distracts from the NHS's broader struggles, including long wait times, staffing shortages, and underfunding. "This is not what the NHS needs right now," said one frustrated critic. "We're talking about a healthcare system on its knees, and Labour is prioritising language reform." Social media has become a battleground, with some praising Sobel for his progressive stance and others accusing him of alienating Labour's core voters. Sobel, however, remains steadfast. In Parliament, he argued that ignoring trans men's healthcare needs could lead to dangerous consequences, such as radiation treatment being administered without pregnancy screenings. Inclusivity is not optional, he declared. But his words have done little to quell the uproar, and many within Labour worry that the controversy is deepening divisions within the party. As if these crises weren't enough, Labour now faces a moral battle that could redefine its identity. The proposed assisted dying bill, introduced by Labour MP Kim Leadbeater, seeks to legalise medically assisted deaths for terminally ill patients. The bill has sparked an emotional nationwide debate, with supporters arguing it offers dignity and choice, while opponents warn of the risks to society's most vulnerable. In a dramatic twist, former Prime Minister Gordon Brown has emerged from political retirement to condemn the legislation. Brown, who has long opposed assisted dying, penned an emotional op-ed invoking the memory of his infant daughter Jennifer, who passed away at just 11 days old. For Brown, the experience of holding his dying child solidified his belief in the sanctity of life and the importance of palliative care. An assisted dying law, however well-intentioned, risks fundamentally altering how society views the sick and elderly, he warned. Brown's intervention has added fuel to an already fiery debate. Proponents of the bill argue that it offers a humane option for those suffering unbearable pain, while critics like Brown fear a slippery slope that could erode safeguards and pressure vulnerable individuals into ending their lives prematurely. Leadbeater has pushed back against Brown's critique, insisting that her bill includes strict safeguards and does not diminish the need for excellent palliative care. "This isn't about choosing between care and choice," she said. "It's about offering both." Polls suggest public opinion is on Leadbeater's side, with 73% of Britons supporting assisted dying in principle. However, the debate has exposed deep divisions within Labour, with MPs torn between personal beliefs and political considerations. The upcoming vote promises to be a defining moment for the party, with the potential to deepen fractures at a time when unity is desperately needed. For Rachel Reeves, Keir Starmer, and the Labour leadership, these simultaneous crises represent a perfect storm. On one hand, the party faces a growing revolt from pensioners and advocates over energy policies that many see as heartless. On the other, cultural debates over NHS language and assisted dying threaten to alienate traditional voters while dividing MPs. The stakes couldn't be higher. With winter fast approaching, the public's patience is wearing thin, and Labour's ability to respond effectively is being tested like never before. Will Reeves and Starmer rise to the occasion, or will these mounting scandals prove their undoing? One thing is certain, the decisions Labour makes in the coming weeks will define not only its leadership, but its future as a party. As Britain braces for a bitter winter, Labour is on the brink of its own freezing reckoning.